is practice over what you learned how to do yesterday, which was finding rate of change from a table. So if you go to that Delta math assignment, now, here's what's a little bit weird. So yesterday, it pretty much just asked you, is it constant rate of change or not? Today, it's asking you what the actual rate of change is. And some of these might not be constant, but that's okay. It's not asking you, is it constant or not? What it's going to ask you to do, see this part right here? For example, where it says the interval 3 is less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 5. So what that's asking you to do is, because it's got the letter x in there, you're going to go to the x column of the table. And because it says between 3 and 5, you're going to go where x is equal to 3, which is right here, right? And where x is equal to 5 on the table. And these are the two coordinates, or sets of coordinates, I should say, that you're going to use to find your rate of change. So remember what rate of change is. It's your change in your y value over your change in your x value. It's confusing because you kind of have to think backwards. You would think that the change in your x would go first, but that's not how it works. And this right here is a little bit confusing also. You know how we mathematicians have 90 different ways of saying the same crap? This is another one of those times. F of x is just another way of saying y. Okay? So this is just another way of saying y. It's called f of x. It's called function notation, which you'll learn more about next year when you go to Algebra 1. But so the left side of your table is going to be your x, right side of your table is going to be y, just like yesterday. It's just using function notation instead. So if I look at my y values, so again, why did I decide to start down here at these two? Because the problem told me to go where x is between 3 and 5. So I went to that spot on the table. So let's figure out my change in my y. So first of all, from 66 to 52, is that going up or is that going down? That is going down. It's going down. 66 minus 52 is 14. So my change in my y value is going to be 14. So even though it's on the right-hand side of the table, so you would think it would go first, last, it actually goes first. And because it's decreasing, you need to make it a negative 14. So then we need our change in our x values. And it told us to go from 3 to 5. So what is the change? First of all, is that increasing or decreasing, friends? Increasing. It's increasing by 2, right? So this is going to be negative 14 over positive 2. What is, can I simplify that at all? 14 over 2. Yeah. I can. What can I simplify that to? Because they're both even, right? And we need to make sure we don't forget it's negative 7 over 1, okay? And it'll also accept it as correct if you say negative 7. Okay, because 7 divided by 1 does give you negative 7. So even though I was like, hey, it's not really a rate without two numbers, it will accept it either way. Okay, so go to where it tells you on the table, where it tells you to go, and find the rate of change for that one. I'm going to do one more for you. All right, so then for this one, first you need to decide what part of the table to use. It tells you to go where x is between 12 and 24. So x is here. Where is 12 and 24? So 12 and 24. So those are the two columns that you're going to use. So to find my change, the two rows, my change in y, so that means I'm going to look from here to here. 28 to 48, is that an increase or a decrease? Increase of how much? 20. So it's going to be a positive 20. Because it's an increase. And then my change in my x values, or my delta x is another way to call it, from 12 to 24. 12, and it's an increase. So 12 and 20, what's a number we can divide both 12 and 20 by? 2. So we'll do that. So that'll get us 10 over 6. Is that simplified all the way?
No.
What else can I do? Divided by 2 again. Is it wrong that I had to take 2 steps to divide it to get it to simplest form? It's not wrong, okay? If you need to do that, do that. Although I could have just divided by 4 and done it in 1 step, but doing it in 2 steps does not mean I'm wrong. So to type it into Delta Math, you'll just say 5/3 in simplest form, okay? So there's a